Black Ops 6 is right around the corner. Maybe by the time you've watched this video, it's already out. And we have confirmation there's going to be 16 new maps at launch, and leaks have suggested that remakes of Nuketown and Firing Range will be added quickly after that. But what about the other Treyarch maps that should be brought back? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and today we're going to look at 10 maps from Treyarch's entire library that I think should be remade for Black Ops 6. And I know, the argument is we don't want remakes, we want brand new maps. Well, if we're getting 16 brand new maps and then we get a steady dose of new maps with DLC, I'm okay with some good remakes being added in the list. You let me know in the comments which of these you think would play the best, and if you're okay with it as well. And some of these remakes would be interesting with the new Omni movement. Drop a like, guys. Welcome to the channel. And if you're excited for Black Ops 6, let's start things off with... We're going to start with Summit. Yeah, I know. Number 10, Summit from Black Ops. Now, a lot of people seem to think Summit is one of the most spammed maps in Call of Duty history. But it's actually been a while. It's been a long time since it showed up on a mainline game. Summit debuted in the original Black Ops. We all know that was one of the most popular maps in the game because it slapped. Mid-sized design, tight 3-lane philosophy, kept the pace high, funneled everybody in the middle of the map. You had insane firefights. You know the drill. Summit was remade for Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 4. But it was absent from Black Ops Cold War, meaning it's actually been 6 years since the last time it was a main console or PC Call of Duty game. Plus, with the Omni move in it in Black Ops 6, I think a new version of Summit could be interesting. Can you imagine the crazy plays people would go for by diving through the windows in the control room in the middle of the map, or diving down the stairs with a sniper rifle towards the north end of the map? Summit's one of the all-time best Black Ops maps ever. I definitely think it's time Treyarch brought it back, especially with how much Omni move it could shake up the play. Now, some of these on this list are going to be no-brainers, but we've got to put them on there. At number 9, Standoff from Black Ops 2. Looking at this map, all I can think about is how awesome it would be to use Omni movement to dive through the second-story windows of the building in the middle of the map. And you're going to hear that phrase a lot throughout this. Just understand, because a lot of these, I really want to see how they react with Omni movement. Standoff was a fan favorite map in Black Ops 2. It was mainly known for the insane sniper duels that took place from the second-story windows of 4 buildings that overlooked the main road. You could either try to run along the outside alleyways to get from one power position to another, or you could just try to capture one of those buildings and be the annoying person sniping down on everyone else or picking off people in the other windows. But could you imagine how cool the map would be with Omni? What if you could slide down the stairs in one of the buildings to take somebody out trying to flank you? Or what if you could dive out the second-story balcony and no-scope somebody on the street below? Standoff is begging to be played with Omni movement. And I'm kind of hoping Treyarch brings this one into Black Ops 6. I know, some people are feeling a bit burnt out on this map. I get it, but maybe this could be a new, fresh experience. At number 8, Seaside from Black Ops 4. Now, Black Ops 4 definitely relied a little too much on map remakes, I will admit that, but there was a handful of originals that were good. Seaside was a launch map in Black Ops 4. I thought it was good. I think it deserves to be preserved for the next generation of Black Ops players. Medium-sized map set in Spain, takes place on a coastal town, very pretty, lots of sights, lets you run around various buildings, streets. Now, even though the footprint was big, most of the combat was close to mid-range. It did have some pretty awesome visuals as well, thanks to that coastline being right next to the action. There was even a weather variant in Black Ops 4 that had you fighting during the sunset. I would love to see either version of the map come as DLC for Black Ops 6. It's probably not one of the maps that people think of when they think of Black Ops 6 maps that deserve to be remade, but I think Black Ops 4 deserves more love than it gets. Treyarch may have gone all out with the map remakes in the game, but the original maps from this era get overshadowed just a little bit, so I think they should get some love. And if someone from Treyarch happens to watch this video, think about it. Seaside was awesome. At number 7, Mirage from Black Ops 2. This was a DLC map in Black Ops 2 that a lot of people forgot about, but it was a pretty popular choice back in the day for those who paid for the map packs. Mirage was a medium-sized map. It took place at a resort in the middle of the Gobi Desert. You could fight alongside the outside roads, the streets. You could weave in and out of the main structure in the middle of the map that provided some cover and some pretty intense firefights. Now, due to the fact that it was a paid DLC map, a lot of people never actually experienced Mirage. And if you did pay for the DLC, this was one of those maps that was constantly overshadowed by the other maps in Black Ops 2's DLC season, like Grind, Studio, Rush, and many, many more. Black Ops 2 had a pretty insane DLC season, so the less flashy maps like Mirage, they often got forgotten. I don't think that's fair. It was a good map. I loved it. There was tons of flanking routes. There was some great verticality to it. I think it would lend itself well to the gameplay of Black Ops 6. And raise your hand if you actually remember this map. At number 6, The Pines from Black Ops Cold War. Now, the Pines, to me, was one of the coolest maps in Cold War, set in a giant mall in New Jersey in the 80s. Now, as always, Treyarch absolutely nailed the atmosphere and the vibes of the map, but they also nailed the layout. They created a relatively large map that maintained a pretty fast pace and provided a ton of different styles of gameplay for players of all skill levels. Could you guys imagine all the crazy clips people would get by sliding down the escalator in the middle of the map or diving out of the second story down towards the B flag and Dom? Now, it might be a little big for 6v6 gameplay, but with how fast the movement in Black Ops 6 is, I don't actually think this would be much of a problem since you could run from one end of the map and the other in a relatively short amount of time. Treyarch has said they're not planning on making any big maps for Black Ops 6, but I'm honestly not sure if they would count the Pines as a big map. I mean, if you look at the gameplay videos, I think the Pines is roughly the same size as the Blockbuster map that was in the Black Ops 6 beta, maybe a little bigger. But even if the Pines ended up being one of the biggest maps in the game, I don't think people would mind it because it was a good map. I think it would have a home in Black Ops 6. Now we arrive at the top 5. Courtyard from World at War. Now, this map was remade as Dig in Black Ops 2, but it somehow never returned after that despite being a fantastic map and a fan favorite. Courtyard featured a ton of cool vertical power positions, and there was a lot of risk-reward involved with playing here. You could either stick to the trenches, remain safe, or you could jump on top of the trenches and get from one side of the map in a matter of seconds, but you would run the risk of getting blasted from 5 different locations since everybody could see you. Courtyard with Omni movement could be one of the coolest COD multiplayer experiences ever, especially with the new game modes that have been introduced since World at War launch. You've got Hardpoint, Demolition, brand new Kill Order. Could you imagine playing Courtyard and being able to jump on top of the trenches and dive back into cover at a moment's notice? I mean, it could honestly play good with the new movement. I don't know. You let me know what you think. I'm kind of hoping Treyarch notices that and remakes it. The clips you could get diving off the trenches into the B flag and Dom would be absolutely entertaining. At number 4, Hangar 18 in Black Ops. Raise your hand if you remember this one. Probably not. Probably not. Many of you probably thought it was one of the less popular DLC maps from the original Black Ops, but in case you need a refresher, if you do remember it, or you don't, this was a map that lets you run around on top of jets and in hangars. You see where I'm going? Picture it. You spawn in on Hangar 18, you get a sniper rifle in your hand, you run up to the top of the jet, you see a target in the distance, you dive off the side of the jet, you snipe the enemy player in midair, and then you post it on TikTok for 5 million views. Maybe that's a little specific, but I think this map deserves to come back, especially since it was one of the few maps from the original Black Ops that never got remade. I mean, Black Ops Cold War had remakes of other Black Ops 1 DLC maps. We had Drive-In, we had Zoo. Why not Hangar 18? It would fit perfect in the setting, and it would be a nice throwback for those of us who actually played it back in the day, and there were some really cool Easter eggs on this map as well. At number 3, Cove from Black Ops 2. This map was set on a tiny little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean at the site of a plane crash. It would have both teams fighting for control of it. Medium-sized map, pretty circular in design. To me, that made it more exciting than some of the other medium-sized maps because you could either run around the outskirts and try to stay out of harm's way, or you could just run right in the middle of the map and try to take on enemies from all sides. It was pretty insane if everybody was moving around or quick scoping. Now, Cove had some fun verticality, had some power positions, could shake things up, give you a bit of advantage over the circular design, and on top of all that, the fact that the map was a tiny little island, with no way off, it was pretty cool. I'd like to see it rebuilt in the modern COD engine. I think it'd be cool, and yes, you can see Hijacked from the Cove Beach. At number 2, Rush in Black Ops 2. Man, Black Ops 2 had some good DLC maps. This one was a fan favorite. Actually came back as free DLC in Black Ops Cold War, so plenty of you probably got a taste of it. But it's yet another map that I think would play even better, yes, with Omni. Rush takes place on a paintball court. There's an intense indoor area as well as a very intricate outdoor area with a ton of high ground. With the improvements to movement in Black Ops 6, the amount of crazy plays on this map would just be overload. Indoor areas, people could slide in and out of cover, mantle the different obstructions for aggressive flanks. In the outdoor areas, people could do some crazy diving plays off the second story areas and into enemy territory. We could finally stand on top of those cover pieces in the middle of the map that were inaccessible in Black Ops 2 and Cold War since we couldn't jump far enough out of the second story to reach them. I think Rush could be really cool for Black Ops 6. They may be hesitant on this one because they just remade Rush for Black Ops Cold War, but just like other maps on this list, I think it would play completely different in this game. So I don't know if the community would be all that upset if it got remade in 2 Black Ops games in a row. And it wouldn't be the first map to get remade twice in a row either. And at number 1 today, my pick for the Black Ops 6 map that we should get remade, or not, no, I didn't say that right. The map that should be remade for Black Ops 6 is Crossroad Strike from Black Ops Cold War. Now, this was seen by many as the best 6v6 map in Cold War. And if Treyarch brings any of the original maps from the game back in Black Ops 6, I think it should be this one. Giant map for the big team modes, yes, but Treyarch also has a smaller version called Crossroad Strike. And even though it was literally just a section of the bigger map with a bunch of barriers and walls set to make it smaller, it still played really good. It was small enough to keep the pace up, but still big enough that you weren't overwhelmed with gunfire every time you spawned in. In those snowy landscapes, they kept the lighting bright. They did. They prevented enemy players from blending in with the environments and hiding in plain sight. There hasn't been a lot of Call of Duty maps worthy of being remade over the last 4 or 5 years, but honestly, I think Crossroad Strike is one of the exceptions. Fantastic 6v6 map. I think Treyarch should bring it back in Black Ops 6 not only because it's a ton of fun, but it would also create some nice continuity with Black Ops Cold War. And there you have it. You get to suggest 2 map remakes that I did not put on here in the comment section, and I'll see you guys soon.